All right, everybody, as promised on the Fly Racing Racer X podcast, World Supercross kicking off this weekend in Wales, and then round 2 in Australia, and certainly more to come in 2023. It's exciting times for the series over there and for over here. A lot of big names are hitting the track, but maybe none bigger than this gentleman here. It's Chad Reed. What's up, Reedy? How are you, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good.
Long time no speak.
Yeah, thanks for doing it. It's why we've texted, if that counts.
Yeah, a little bit. And I did a couple of combines. I think I kind of walked by you and stuff. But yeah. No, kind of finding ourselves not on the same schedule.
No, me, you, and Stu at Paula. We had a little chat.
Right.
That's right.
We on Saturday morning.
Yeah,
I remember that now.
It was so hot though. I think I maybe passed out.
Yeah, it was. We almost all passed out.
Dude, it's gnarly. So, wow, World Supercross coming in. I'm going to be there. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. A new series starts. You're very familiar with the Supercross Global guys, obviously. I want to get into the series. I want to get into the SMX stuff. I want to talk more about that. But let's focus on you first. Following you on social media, you've made a few comments about hey, It's coming back, and I got to work hard to get it all back. What's it been like to prep for this thing? Because, I mean, you're not going out to, wave to because I know you're not going out to wave to the crowd and get, 10th, right? You're doing better than that.
That's not the goal, at least.
Yeah, right.
if I end up there, I end up there.
Yeah.
The goal is to try to do the work, right? I mean, I don't think the work's changed, at least in my opinion. I think that what it took to do the wins and the podiums and the titles, I don't believe that that's changed today at any level. So I know the workload and what it takes and whatnot. It's just, obviously it's different, right? I'm 40 years old. I'm 2 years removed from it. And so definitely, not being in shape and of course, as you see, I jump on a dirt bike regularly and I ride and whatever, but riding, for a bit of fun and, throwing down for 5 laps around an amateur motocross track is one thing. Throwing yourself back into, just knowing where you need to be, and so for me, it was I had to look it was a kind of going back to the beginning. It was a big decision. It actually wasn't an easy decision for me because, I'm so busy with my kids and they're my priority. They're my everything at this point. I love embracing what they're doing and just being, being a source of information and helping them and, bridge that gap to, the years that they've missed and things like that. So for me, when I was do I do it? Do I pull back on some of the kid stuff and do this? And so kind of one thing led to another. And Nick Way actually told me it was in March, actually. It was at the Spring Nationals in Texas. And Nick Way says, hey, do you hear that about the World Supercross? And of course, behind closed doors, I've been amongst those closed doors conversations for 5 years now. So I knew the concept was coming. I very much knew that the series was, coming to fruition, and so that wasn't far away. And so I kind of, obviously you have to play it down a little bit, and I was considering first off the goal was to run my own team. They were giving me the opportunity to come in as a series owner, a team owner, should I say, not a series owner. And that opportunity, and I kind of I ummed and ahed. I kind of tried to figure it out, and I just didn't think that where I was at in life that it was the perfect and the right direction for me, with how busy I am with the kids. And so Nick brought up about, hey, do you hear that MDK wants to go and be a part of it? And I'm kind of no, I didn't. I'm hey, just feel free to pass on my number. And next minute MDK called me and we kind of kicked it around, and we really talk from everything from, do we partner? Do we, we have this thing? Do we, do I just be an athlete? And kind of as time went on, the right scenario really was that I think it was just best for me to put the boots and gloves and helmet back on and be an athlete and go back to it. Yeah. So here we are. I did my work. I really did. I put in about I probably started, about a 12-week training camp.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't call it a training camp like, hey, I started and 12 weeks ago I've been 100% all in.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 12 weeks for me was like, okay, I'm not an athlete currently. Like I am, I'm probably 25 pounds over my normal race weight, 30 maybe. And so here we are. I have to get back into shape. And so like I took, and at that point I tried to weigh up all my options. And my options were, even at that point, if I wanted to jump on a Supercross bike and I wanted to go ride and test and everything like that, there really wasn't available. Like there was a lot of parts that weren't available to me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I want to deal with the off bike and the dieting change, because that's a big change for me. Like I'm going from 2 years of eating whatever I want, drinking what you want, just like I need to get that athletic mentality and lifestyle back. And that's going to be a lifestyle change for me at this point in my life. So I embraced that, and that was a big change. And that's honestly, that's been the hardest part of it. Like the riding and the training, yes, it's been hard, but like nothing that I don't remember, or like, like maybe I started out a little slow and or should I say start out fast, but get really slow fast because I'm tired.
Right.
So yeah, but I mean, honestly speaking, it has been fun. It's been fun to get back into shape again, and it brings a new perspective, because I do think that it's fair that everybody gets burnt out or everybody gets tired at one point, but physically, mentally, just being fully healed and sane again was really fun to go back and do that work again, because I just think that so many of us do it for so long, even pre our pro careers. And I think that what you don't realize is that you're always in this, you're on the verge of just exhaustion always, right? But you push, and you have good days and bad days and better days and harder days and all this kind of stuff. But for the most part, I don't really think your body gets that full turn off. It recoups mentally, physically, emotionally, those things. And so that was probably the biggest thing, is just my body actually felt like I feel better now than I did in my last year of racing, to be honest. Will the results tell me the same? Will that be the same answer? I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, my last year was a really tough year. I came off of back-to-back rib injuries. I just was never at my happy self. So I don't know. For me, there's some boxes that I'm getting to tick, and I'm enjoying and having fun doing it.
If you get to go out in a better way, let's face it, it was COVID, it was an empty stadium. It sucked for a guy like you to go out that way, and it sucked for Eli to win the championship that way. All of that stuff's going on. And you mentioned the injuries, and yes, you were not riding nearly as well as most of us have seen you do it. If things go better at the end, are you still doing this? Or is a little bit of this like, hey, I didn't get to call my ending the way I wanted to?
No, this has zero to do with that, because I can honestly say that, like, from a personal level, did it end how I want it to? No, but I think I've said it on the show before that the ending was it had its own meaning as well, right? Like it was during COVID. My one last ride, it was really hectic. Like I was doing the VIP experience. And so I was spread thin. I was running my own team again. So like, honestly speaking, I was thin and I wasn't doing great anyway. And so I feel like when COVID happened and we got to reset and we got weeks off and I got back to being healthy and I got on a KTM and I got to go to the last 7 races with, my wife and some of my best friends, and there was no one else in the pits that you were allowed to communicate with. At least, let's be honest, you lived it.
Yeah.
And so it was enjoyable for that reason and that reason only, like, would I have had fans? Of course. But, I got to tick the boxes but this has nothing
to do with that. Yeah.
And this is not a comeback. This, like, I don't ever, like, I don't look at this as a comeback. Like, it's not like, I don't go, oh, I'm going back racing, because that desire is not there. Like, I don't have a desire to come back to racing.
Okay.
I am 100% content with my life the way it is, and helping my kids, and, you know, getting to do the combines with MX Sports and all these kinds of things that I feel that are being really fun for me. So like, this is, people may think, oh, he's coming back. That's the easy thing. Oh, you're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, I am back racing in a professional race. I get it. But this is not a comeback. This is me going and enjoying dirt bike racing at the highest level because I can, and because it makes sense for me right now.
So this isn't a 2023 thing necessarily. Like
no, I have zero consideration.
Right.
Like, I've given, you know, like, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't do it in 23, but right now there is no plan to go beyond these two races.
Yep.
There's no plan to even be a consideration of, you know, being on MDK next year. Like, I want to give everything to these two races. And if I have fun and it makes sense, you know, when the time comes to have that, you know, that talk with Ellie and the kids and say, hey, you know, this pays the bills pretty good still.
Yeah, no,
you know,
sure.
like, then that conversation will happen. But within our family and my circle, like, that conversation is like, this is a 2-race thing for me.
Okay, all right. Why a KTM? Obviously, like you said, you rode Huskies and KTMs near the end of your U.S. career. I'm guessing you could ride anything you want. MDK, you know, you could get bikes from anybody. You could get support from anybody. Why'd you stick with a KTM? Did you try anything else? I know how important bike setup is for you and bikes, and we know all that. Take us through that process of saying, I'm going to stay on orange.
Yeah, I mean, I've been committed to KTM since I did the one last ride when we retired. You know, I think at this point it makes sense that, you know, it's the bike that I ride regularly on a day-to-day basis. It's super easy to maintain. It's just a very easy bike to make competitive. You know, ready to race. That's a slogan. And honestly, it couldn't be truer, you know, from a guy that doesn't get paid a cent from him. It's just a really easy bike. It's a good bike. Interesting. Obviously, I've started late here on the new bike. I was meant to have, you know, the new factory edition bike, which let's call it the 23. Yep. I was meant to have that bike early, kind of March, April, but for whatever reason, mine never showed up. So I only got on one September, I think, around September, maybe a little bit end of August or something like that. So yeah, I think that bike hasn't been as big of a challenge as what it looks like the others are having. Yeah, for sure. You know, I was thankful that I was able to go to California. You know, I was not really allowed to talk about it, but obviously there's video evidence of it.
Yeah,
but,
we saw it. We saw it out there, right?
But I mean, obviously, I went and I was very thankful to the team for allowing me to use the test track and do some testing out there. And you know, Mark Johnson at you know, with WP and AEO was able to get me dialed in pretty quickly. So it's been it was a smooth transition. Like, I haven't, no real answer other than it just makes sense. It was my bike of choice, to be honest. Yep. So here we are.
What has, so obviously, look, as you said off the top of this thing, you can jump a quad, jump a triple with your eyes closed. That's not the problem. Or that's not an issue. But what's been the toughest thing to get back? Like, to me, like, you're 40, but you know, you can be 38 or 42. I think you're the same. I think, to me, in my opinion, the time off is what's going to, I don't want to say hurt you, but going to be the toughest to overcome is taking the time off. Now, Dungey took 6 years and almost got on the box. So maybe it's not the time. But to me, 2 years off at the highest level of racing would be tough to get back. But is it that, or is it physical, you know, physical issues?
I think that, you know, bringing up Dungey is the perfect scenario. I think that I think it takes you mentally being ready to do what it takes. You know, like, 2 years away seems pretty short compared to Dungey's 6, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
You know, obviously there's a big difference in age. I'm almost 10 years older than Dungey. You know, so that's probably going to maybe, you know, play a role. But I don't know. I don't know what the hardest part would be. It's because I mean, just the grind like that. I think getting back the fitness is one thing, but getting back that intensity, like I can honestly say that, like right now, today, as I sit here, I don't know that I could get any better than actually having to go. Like I have to, at this point, I need to go racing to go, oh, I'm not good here. Oh, I'm actually, like I just think that, like I feel like I've ticked all the boxes that I wanted to tick. And I don't necessarily put it to being like, did I do enough? Did I not do enough? It really is just going to be, how am I going to be when I jump back into racing around 19 other guys with that intensity, that I've been missing for the past 2 years. The answer won't be told, I don't think, until we find, I dive in.
Sure. Yeah.
Head first on next Saturday.
Yeah.
So I think that when I seen Dungey come back and you see him, I think that, I don't think it's a secret that Dungey maintained race fitness. It seemed like he was always working out and always doing things, and I think that he had multiple years where he was doing the work and planning on coming back and it just didn't work out. So I think that in the meantime, I don't think he rode a whole lot, but I think he trained and whatever, where I've almost done the opposite, where I kind of feel like I've rode quite a bit, but I just didn't do the training.
Yeah. No bicycle rides,
No bicycle rides the last 2 years.
Oh, that's funny. By the way, I texted you when Dungey announced his comeback, and you were like, yeah, I think he can get podium or close to it, and I think that you were right. He didn't get podium, but he probably should have, and he came real close a bunch. So I think you kind of nailed your predictions with. And
I truly believe and I believe that I 100% believe that he was good enough to be on the podium, and honestly, I believe that he was good enough to win. I just think that the battle that they were having within, that new bike and the direction that they're in, I just think that was bigger than anticipated, I think, and I truly believe that he was good enough to be, like, look at him. He put himself in just like typical Dungey. He put himself in good places and whatever. And then he was solid. You could see that he just couldn't go. Like he couldn't, like I've never seen Ryan Dungey. I went to Redbud.
Yep.
And I've never seen Ryan so limited on some of the things that I seen. And I seen him crash after the leap. He lost the front. And just things like that, where I'm like, that's not actually Ryan Dungey. That's outside things affecting him. So I think for as good as he did, and when you look at his teammates or teammate, I think it's safe to say that he punched above his weight in all year long.
Sure. Fly Racing Racer X podcast with Chad Reed, kicking off the World Supercross coming up this weekend in Wales. I've been calling it England on my show, Chad, and all these guys are getting mad at me. It's Wales. I guess it's different than England.
Oh my God! You know what? Yeah, it's the UK. We're going to the UK.
We're going to the UK. All right, that's good.
We're going to the United Kingdom. I don't even know where we're going. We're going to Great Britain.